I'm Jess. Welcome to the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
The Rochester Press Box is brought to you by McGregor's Grill and Tap Room, now with 6 locations, including the newest at Easton Alexander, featuring in-house catering for parties. McGregor's, a beer lover's paradise. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown. Bill Pucko with you, joined this week by Kim Berntson, who is a sports producer at WHTK. Thank you. Mike Catalana, of course, 13 WHAM TV.
Good to be back.
And from the DNC, Jeff Diveronica, our soccer expert. Jeff, and that's where we'll start. Look, Jeff C. Myers was replaced by Pat Oakley this week as head coach of the Rochester Rhinos. Always a big deal when you change a coach midstream. Was this something that should have, it had to happen?
I don't think it had to happen right now. I think he deserved a little more time. You play 6 of your first 8 matches on the road. A couple of those matches were against a first-place team. Another one was against a good Harrisburg team that's in 3rd place. And 2 of them were 24 hours after you lost the night before. That's a tough recipe for any coach. I think he deserved about 3 more matches. If they didn't turn around then I think they should have pulled the plug. But I think it was about a week and a half too soon.
1-6-1 is awfully ugly, though.
It is. And it's tough to market your team, tough to try to get fans into the building. Obviously, with Oakley coming back and his history of success, it might give him a little spark, but ultimately, he said it in the paper, we have to win. Yeah. It's not about who's... I mean, if you open the doors and Abby Wambach doesn't draw fans, Pat Oakley back on the bench is not going to pack them in.
Well, you open the door of the Abby Wambach situation. Abby, right out of the gate, didn't draw the big crowds. That team has got some issues, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, as we were talking about it, the fact that Abby is a draw by herself when it's an event. And we even talked about this with Abby when she first decided to come here, the fact that we were so used to it being an event. One time, we're here with the national team, we're visiting when they're playing against the Western New York Flash. She's here all summer. It's not an event. You don't have to be there for that game to see Abby play, and that's really cost them a little bit because Abby's there, and she's going to be here next week, and then a month from now, and then 2 months from now, and she's still going to be playing. And I think it's her.
Along with marketing, have you heard many Abby Wambach Flash commercials on HTK?
No, not really at all, actually. And I think a big thing, too, is they're playing, and it's not a field full of superstars. It's 1 or 2 names that you might recognize. Other than that, I mean, what's the incentive to go?
You have other chances to get there. That's the thing. You have 9 other home games.
Soccer's long banked on the idea that we have so many kids playing. Someday they're going to grow up to be, soccer fans.
I hate that argument. When's the last time anybody played tackle football in their life? And it is by far the biggest sport in the country is the NFL. It's great. People play in a game, but there's a big difference between playing and watching. And it does not translate.
Here's what you need to do to get the little kids that are playing. You need to get in front of them. This league that they're in is big on Facebook and Twitter and social media as their advertising. Well, I'm not even a huge fan of television advertising. What you need to do is email, phone call, all these youth soccer coaches, all these high school coaches, all these JV coaches and say, listen, we know our ticket's $13, but if you bring 10 kids, we're going to knock it down to 10. If you bring 20, we'll knock it down to $8 a head.
And Jeff knows too, obviously, if they built that stadium in the right place with soccer fields surrounding it, you make a day of it, kids are there for the game, the players are around, it's a much better thing for parents to send their kids to the game than it is now being
which
where
is, I say try a 3 o'clock in the afternoon game. See if people want to come down there.
Kim, that same argument about, they will come, get they played. They market to women the same way, thinking we put a women's team out there, women will come see it play. That team play. Do you find that that's an agreeable argument?
No, not really. I think the most important thing for these teams is they have to get their players out into the community and because I remember back in the day, like in the 90s when the Rhinos were huge, I knew all those players. They were running soccer camps. I played soccer. I went to the Doug Miller camp all the time. I knew those players well. I wanted to see them play.
It's kind of the same argument we made about the Nighthawks. When I say, this Flash team is gone. They come practice maybe once, and then they're here. But they're not living here. They're not in this community. And they do lose out on that daily or weekly interaction with fans.
A guy named Lennon Steenkamp used to be in places like this bar many, many nights. and many, hey, you call up the office, tell them you know Lennon Steenkamp, they're going to give you 10 tickets. That helps.
Give them an expense account and
That
send them out
helps.
to the bars.
You know?
Just to quickly round out the discussion, between the Rhinos and the Flash, and they're off to a difficult start, by the end of the season, is there a chance of putting this back together?
Absolutely. They just need to get into the playoffs. It's soccer. I mean, once you get in, anything can happen. The thing is, I think they have talent. I think Eric Lee thinks they have talent. Jesse Myers, if he had one downfall, I think he believed in these guys too much and didn't read them the riot act early enough in the season.
Alrighty, when we return, Sergio Garcia gets himself in a little bit of trouble, more trouble.
Hi, I'm Kaylee, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Welcome back, Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown. Sergio Garcia, honest God, I see this and I think, how do you keep making the same mistakes over again? Was asked by a golf reporter whether or not he would have Tiger Woods over for dinner, and he said yes, and we'll serve fried chicken.
Yeah.
And Mike, why does this keep happening?
Well, there's an old phrase, and I tweeted it out today, saying, close your mouth and be thought of a fool, or open it and confirm it for everybody. Sergio Garcia is a fool. I didn't like him before. He's made Tiger more likable to people, even if they don't like Tiger. Tiger didn't do anything. It's a little golf stuff back and forth. And Sergio trying to kill a fly with a sledgehammer here with his stupid comments. Calls himself a victim and then makes that comment. He made a funny line. His first line was, we're going to have him for dinner every night. And everybody laughed. And then in the little ego-driven mind of his, he had to go with one more line. And then he doesn't even own up to that. And it says, I got caught up. I was surprised by the question or whatever. He's a clown. I'm not a Sergio fan at all.
It speaks to you mentioned ego, the invincibility these guys feel when they're given all this free stuff and they're making millions of dollars. Anything that comes out of my mouth, I can overcome it. And it's just the stupidity level of this is off the charts, that he would be this dumb to do this, especially when there's a track record. I mean, this kind of killed Fuzzy Zeller's career.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just stupid.
That was such a buzzkill, because when he says that, the room goes silent. But is there any chance, Kim, that we're making too much of this?
No, because I think he meant to say it, and like Mike said, now he's making Tiger look like the victim, kind of. I mean, I think he's making Tiger look more
likable.
Likable, exactly. He's making Tiger look more likable because people hate Sergio more now.
Tiger's tweet this morning was finally like, okay, let's act like adults here and stop name calling and stop just fighting with each other and just shut up and play golf.
He handled it well.
Making Tiger more likable is no small feat.
Well, it is, but Tiger also, no matter what he's done, the guy can play. And even if you don't like him, everybody can look at him and go, wow, this guy has worked his way back into that. He's been up, down, up, down, up, down, and every moment of it is still better than Sergio Garcia as a golfer.
Garcia choked more yesterday than he did at the TPC.
And that's saying a lot.
There's a part of me that wants to cut Sergio a break here, saying he tried to tell a joke in what is essentially his second language. Is there?
No. He's been speaking that second language for about 20 years.
Yeah. But then he doesn't even own up to that portion of it. Really, of all the foods you're going to mention, you say fried chicken? I mean, it was just ridiculous, and I want to see Tiger bury him again and again and again. And there was a part of me about a year ago that was kind of hoping maybe Sergio would be a guy to move up and get his major late in his career. I want to see the guy.
I was rooting for Sergio to win at the TPC because I think it would be great for golf, and but now it's like the ultimate stupidity. I can't root for him anymore.
Do you think Fuzzy Zeller sent him a thank you note? Having made the same mistake. How long ago was that?
Oh my gosh.
That'd be 20 years.
Yeah, wow. It was when Tiger won in what was that? 90?
No, maybe not 20 then.
97.
And maybe it's not, because anyone that would have forgot or didn't know about that, it's in every story that's written about Sergio today with the reference to Fuzzy Zeller.
I will say, it definitely the comment definitely took away from his poor play, so he succeeded there.
An evil genius.
Yeah.
Like it or not, when we return.
Hi, I'm Alexa. You're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown. Bill with Kim, Mike, and Jeff. All right, like it or not, the Yankees leading the AL East. So I had to scribble down some notes. David Phelps is pitching as well as Sabathia. Hughes has got a 5.51 ERA. Pettit's injured, and half the roster's on the disabled list. Like it or not, the Yankees in first place in the AL East.
It's crazy because this team, was essentially being mocked before the season even started. And to have these players stepping up, Austin Romine catching at age 20, taking pitches from Mariano Rivera, who, by the way, is just outstanding so far this season, which really begs the question, if his season continues, do you think he's in line for a Cy Young Award?
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
We thought last week whether or not he'd follow through with his retirement. I thought that's where you're going, but Cy Young is entirely possible.
Yeah, why not? He's perfect so far. We'll see if he can keep that going. I like watching this Yankees team play. And we talked before the year, I thought they were going to be closer to last place than first place. I like the way they play. It reminds me more of like the 96 team when you had guys like Brocious, or before that with Charlie Hayes, guys who put the ball in play, clutch hits. They don't strike out anywhere near as much as they do with the guys with the big contracts who may be back or not. I know a lot of Yankee fans are saying, stay away A-Rod, stay away Teixeira, even Granderson, keep these guys in there. Can they keep it up for the whole year? I don't know, but Girardi's doing a great job this year, and they are enjoyable to watch.
Are we seeing a change in sports culture here? You have the Yankees doing well, where in a baseball sense, the Dodgers, Angels, and Blue Jays, who invested big in their teams, are failing miserably. There's a new way of succeeding in sports these days.
I don't think so, because the guys with the money always want to spend the money, and they think that that's going to be enough. Obviously, the Yankees. Do I think that this is going to change the Yankees brass, that they're going to stop spending big money on free agents? No, but I think it's. I talked to a friend of mine last night, and a Yankee fan. He said this has been like a 3-week gift that I never thought I'd ever get, and they're enjoying it. I agree with you. It's like a little bit of small ball guys that aren't. They're grinders, and it's working. So
you don't think it's sustainable?
I don't think so, because the guys with the money, the owners, they're gonna think that now it's my turn to go spend the money and get the best guys out there. So
yeah, well, Robbie Cano will be kind of telling too as to how much money they want to spend on him, and that's keeping their own guy as opposed to getting somebody else. But in the past, they've spent the money.
I can't even hate these guys the way they're doing. I watch my TV. I says I'm trying as hard as I can.
And that's coming from you. Yeah.
Jeff, like it or not, the Mario mess and the escalating engagement ring thing.
Oh, I hate it. I think in this day and age, for an athlete to, and again, I know she brought this out in public and all that, but, if he had just had a statement that said, I'm very disappointed that all this has become public information. It was private. It was very emotional, very sensitive and important to me. I wish we could just put it aside. And, honestly, he's got the money. So I don't know why $750,000 is that big of a deal to him. I think this is an emotional thing, and I wish he would just shut his mouth. I wish it was over. I'm sorry it became public. Can we all just move on? And if he said that, and just, I think it would be a lot better for him.
I think he tried to say that, though, but the media just won't quit. I think
no.
No, but they've been asking him very, personal questions, and I think he does want to get back to football talk.
Now, that's interesting you say that, because I've been in enough, and I listened, I wasn't at the news conference with Mario the other day, and I've been in enough things with the Bills, the way the NFL can be, where they shut down every line of questioning. And guys are asking Mario Williams, did you have suicidal thoughts? I was stunned that this kind of went on. Normally, it's kind of stop. And he was kind of openly answering questions, and it was a weird line of questioning, talking about his personal, him basically having to justify that he's mentally okay. I thought it was an odd thing to do. And I think he would have had every right in the world to say, I'm not going to answer those questions, because that's going to a whole nother level. I agree with you, though. At this point, the money thing is one thing. He should have tried to get it behind him. Fair or unfair that she keeps the ring, he would have been better off if it just went away.
We have learned, that he had the injury last year that bothered him, but you have to wonder how much this, in his emotional state, hurt him.
Yeah, that and the fact they do seem to treat him differently, because last year you brought up the injury. They asked the coach, Chan Gailey, about what about Mario's injury. I said, I don't know, ask him.
Yeah.
They just threw him under the bus in the press conference. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't
let
like
him kind of go on his own. I don't know.
Quickly, like it or not, Mike, the NHL and NBA playoffs are in full gear. You got one you like over the other?
Well, I love the NBA and I love the games, but this next round has not been as good as I think the opening round was, and the NHL is consistently good. On a whole, you could pop in almost any NHL game. It usually is close. It's highly competitive, and especially when you get to the overtime thing. But there have been some great NBA playoffs. I am an NBA guy, but I do love watching.
Why is it? the most exciting thing in sports, overtime in an NHL game, when the stakes are just as high in overtime an NBA game.
Because it's one goal. Because it's one moment that will end the game. It's like the game-winning shot, and you can't replicate. I guess you would say, because at one moment, whatever happens, it's sudden death. They score, they don't score, they keep right on going.
Just like the horse racing is the most exciting 2 minutes.
You got a favorite? You like one or the other?
I mean, I prefer the NBA, but it's because I grew up watching Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I didn't grow up with hockey on TV, but I enjoy both. I'm probably one of the very small percentage of people that do enjoy both, because I feel like NHL fans hate the NBA, NBA fans hate the NHL, and so I prefer the NBA.
Does the soccer guy like either?
I love the NBA. Well, I shouldn't say. I like the NBA. I like them a lot more when the Celtics are good. I didn't grow up on hockey, and I honestly have a tough time following where the puck is, and that that's a problem for me. So it's not, I've never have a favorite team, and I understand the excitement level of it, but it just doesn't connect with me. And I don't, like people that don't play soccer don't understand why that's so tough and rewarding, but I understand the reward in hockey is a big deal.
Locally, the NBA does well. Nationally, the NHL does well. Nationally, the NBA blows it away, ratings-wise. So it's not even close.
Too, that's also because NHL fans kind of tune out when their team loses, whereas I think NBA fans are more appreciative of the talent and the entertainment on the court, and they'll continue to watch throughout the entire series.
All right, when we return, some unfinished business.
Hi, I'm Haley, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
We're back with the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's Unfinished Business. Michael.
Yeah, baseball, football argument. I'm going to make it here. Baseball's got to do something. They're losing a whole generation, and they're losing fans. And the biggest issue with me is the length of games. It continues to get longer and longer and longer. 3.5-hour games for baseball. The other sports do it well. The NFL fights to keep 3-hour games. I'll give you a couple quick numbers. People laugh about preseason football. Our Bills preseason football games here in Rochester do better ratings-wise than the World Series. The Pro Bowl last year got better ratings than the World Series. Football is king. Baseball's got to do something. They've lost a generation, but I think the time of games, it is taking too long. Speed it up, get moving, do it within 3 hours, or you're going to lose more than one generation of fans.
Get more playoff games in the afternoon, too.
Yeah, why not? Get them where people are going to watch.
Jim Boeheim, make this short and sweet. While normally I absolutely love Boeheim speaking out on things and, saying whatever he feels, here I can't really agree with him, only because he threw Melo's teammates under the bus, kind of apologized for Melo like usual. I think Melo needs to change if this team is ever going to succeed. I think the Knicks need a lot of help. And also, one more thing, kudos to Kevin Durant donating $1 million to the tornado relief efforts. I think that's awesome. I think we need more people to step up and do great deeds like that. And also, if you want to donate to the tornado relief, I believe you text 90999, text Red Cross to 90999 and make a $10 donation.
Excellent. It's funny about the Melo dynamic. It's kind of interesting. You can't praise Melo without trashing the rest of that team. You can't praise anybody else on the rest of the team without inadvertently trashing Melo.
Did Coach Boeheim make those comments from the Carmelo Anthony Center?
Oh, man.
The $3 million donation he made to the school?
That's certainly an objective viewpoint there. Jeff, what do you got?
Thanks, Bill. There was a time when I wondered why people weren't going to watch soccer games at our soccer stadium downtown. Didn't get it. Then I talked to a couple coaches who had little kids, and they told me they were afraid to bring their children down to that neighborhood. So that's why I'm telling the city of Rochester one more time. The only way to make that stadium successful is to finally develop that neighborhood. Buy those houses, knock them down, make them parking lots, convince private industry to get in there and build some bars and restaurants. That's the only way we're going to do it. We can have great soccer here again. We can be a really good minor league soccer city. That's what we used to be before we had these delusions of MLS, which now, by the way, has a $100 million expansion fee. So the city of Rochester, please do something with the neighborhood. The teams play earlier games. We can be great again and draw a lot of fans for soccer. Just ask Abby Wambach.
All righty. Jeff, well said. Thank you very much. Mike, appreciate it. Kim, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We record this program at McGregor's Downtown, East Alexander, every Wednesday afternoon at 12:30. We invite you to join us here for lunch. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.